Saw this online. There's a bunch of dogs and pictures in this one story where you see the reactions of them when they get in trouble. One dog after another. Some have signs in front of them of what they've done wrong. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. So it started us to think about your dog at 800-447-7234 and how they react when they go do something very naughty in the house. Liz has a classic dog, Charlie. Yeah. It's a doodle what?
Yeah, golden doodle.
Golden doodle.
Yeah, and she always gets into stuff. Oh my goodness. And she's just so innocent and sweet. But I had borrowed a book from one of my coworkers, from Brian Sumner, who's in the middays, and it was War of the Worlds. And I was about halfway through it, and I got home one day. Charlie had ripped it to shreds. It was all over the living room.
This is a classic.
Right. I don't know if she didn't want me reading the subject matter. I don't know what she had a problem with. But she tore it to bits, and I immediately got on Amazon and got him another book. But
good for you.
Yeah, but I went over to Charlie, and I was like, what did you do? And she just stretches and bats her eyes and tries to get out of it real sweetly. Ace, he's my Pomeranian.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different. If he does something wrong, and he does a lot wrong, he will run and get in his bed and hide.
Retreats, huh?
Oh, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's like, I didn't do nothing.
You know how your pet reacts, or when one does that you know of. Won't you go ahead and let us know? Get it off your chest.
Yeah.
Maybe it was bad at the time when it happened, but you can laugh about it now because Liz sure is.
Oh, yeah, I do. Once he got his new book, and I replaced
Brian,
it.
not Charlie.
No, Charlie doesn't read yet. We're working
Tried
on it.
to, but thought, let me just eat it instead.
His morning crew.
We should see these texts.
Angela said, my 10-month-old Labradoodle Coco likes to steal things off the kitchen table. I think it's a thing with the doodles. Mechanical pencils, plastic silverware, etc. She knows she's in trouble, and she plays keep away from whatever it is.
Takes it and runs, huh?
Yep, yeah. And then Amy has Blue. She says when Blue gets in trouble, he will lower his head and stop making eye contact. Sadie will TT on the floor and then retreat to another room and hide under one of the chairs. She's like, oh, my bad. I didn't mean to do that.
Should have been sitting at the door ready to go outside, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, Thomas, thanks for calling. 800-447-7234. What about your dog, Thomas?
So whenever she gets in trouble, like when she's on the couch and I'm coming home from school, she sees me and she starts sprinting up in the backyard. Sometimes she gets on the couch, and when I come home from school or something, she just takes off.
Sounds like you're in the car, Thomas. Do you have your license already?
No, sir.
So you're driving without a license?
No, I'm going to school. My mom's driving me.
There we go. So you got a chaperone. That your mom is your Uber. And it sounds like you got quite the dog there, Mom.
Crazy, and Thomas likes to get on to her.
What kind of dog do you have?
Golden Labradoodle.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Aren't they the sweetest dogs ever, though, when they're being good?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hey, Mom, very polite young man you got there in Thomas.
Thank you.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
When you get home and you have a pet and you know when the pet did something wrong because, well, that dog just might look at you and... It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew at his radio.
Cheryl texted and said, okay, this was the scene. She did send us a picture of their dog, Lily, who's a Labradoodle. We were training her. Apparently, she got bored while she was in the bathroom while they were gone, and she tore up toilet paper. It looks like it looks like some sort of towel or rag or something she got a hold of, but she made a mess of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We all do things like that when we're bored, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had the toilet paper on the wrong way.
She may have been upset about that. Who knows?
It's either a beard or a mullet. So whatever way you put in the toilet paper.
I don't even care which way. All right. So the next one is from Heather. This sweet angel destroyed 2 quilts. One was over 100 years old.
No, Heather.
The other one was made by my husband's grandmother who had just passed away.
Oh, sad.
I know, but the baby, look, she sent a picture of the baby as well. And the puppy, I'm saying baby, but puppy, just looks so sad. And she's taking the picture in black and white. That really makes
She knows, doesn't she?
She's
knows.
like, I didn't mean to.
I am so sad for you. 800-447-7234. This is another Heather. What about you, Heather?
So when I was younger, my family were sailing missionaries. We lived on a sailboat, and we had a Shetland sheepdog. It was like one of the smartest dogs you'd ever meet. Well, when we were on shore and he was left behind on the boat, he would see us coming back in the dinghy, and he would be so excited running back and forth on the deck, and then all of a sudden he'd remember that he had done something wrong.
Oh.
And all of a sudden he would just stop. He would sit down, put his head down, and put his paw up, saying, "Please forgive me." So he would remember, and he was like, "Oh, I did something wrong." And we got on the boat, and of course, we'd find something, whether it was he tore something up or he had gone to the bathroom in the wrong spot because we had a designated spot. But it was just so funny because he would be so excited running, and then all of a sudden goes, "Oh, I did something." And he would stop and put his paw up until we got on the boat.
I love, Heather, that you were sailing missionaries. What places did you go to?
We went mostly the Bahamas, but mostly what we did is we took clothing, medicine. We did a lot of kids' crusades to the islands of the Bahamas. It mostly was children's ministry. And so we would do like puppet shows and have skits and all kinds of things. And I would have to stand on a stool so that I could get my puppet high enough because I was so young.
Oh, that's so great. What a wonderful experience.
But, yeah.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Here is Angela and Boji. They've been partners for 15 months, and then all of a sudden they got separated.
Aw.
For 18 months. I've been able to see each other. Boji's a dog, and then Angela is Sergeant Cadone, stationed in Japan.
Oh, wow.
And she was put up to the task of really training this dog like you wouldn't believe. I mean, here she is for 15 months making sure that that Boji had all these duties taken care of to hunt down narcotics detection, safety sweeps, vehicle searches. This dog had a big job to do.
Oh, and he's beautiful. He's a German Shepherd, he looks like.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. And these two became inseparable. I mean, they loved each other. And then
course.
she was stationed in Hawaii. And for 18 months, she worried about the dog.
Yeah.
She's like, I wonder what's going on. And so there's this organization. It's called American Humane, and they reunite military dogs with their handlers.
Oh, wow.
And so she reached out to them, and they were able to get back together. They just reunited after 18 months in Hawaii.
So I wonder why they had to be separated for so long. Like, why they didn't let
She
him...
was stationed somewhere else. His job was to do what he did in
stay in
Japan.
Japan.
Yeah, so it was a station thing.
Oh, that would break your heart to be separate. I mean, you've invested so much time and energy, and this dog now loves you and has that connection.
My son in Florida, who's on the SWAT team,
Yeah.
is now getting canine. And so
Oh,
he's
yeah.
training the canine. They're going through canine school, and those two are going to be together unless the canine doesn't graduate.
Sure.
But
Which
they're
is
growing
always
close already,
chance.
you
Well,
know?
of course, because they come in as puppies generally, so they really can grow together. But,
Yeah,
wow, I'm glad they got back together. That's good for them both.
it is.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
When did you get your driver's license renewed for the last time? Was it recently?
I'm trying to think here, maybe a year or two ago.
I think mine was about the same time. I don't think they're doing it in the Carolinas and Georgia, but evidently in California, when you go to get your license renewed, you have to take 2 pictures. They take one with a mask and one without.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I guess it makes sense. The one with the mask must be smaller.
Right.
Yeah.
And they probably are supposed to put the one without the mask on your license, but then they have the other one to cross-reference if you don't want to.
The big picture.
Exactly.
Where everybody smiles so loud and proud.
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
Well, this lady named Leslie, she had to renew her driver's license. She smiles real big for the one picture, has her mask on for the second picture. When they printed her actual driver's license, they sent her the one with the mask.
They mailed it to her?
They mailed it to her. Yeah, which is weird to me, too. I mean, normally...
5 minutes you get it here. Yeah.
Still hot and steamy, but yeah, she gets home. She gets it mailed to her. It's got the mask. They did replace it for free. I was like, well, yeah.
No,
That
why?
was your mistake.
Why? I'd
Why
keep
what?
that one.
Well, I don't know.
I'd use it.
I don't think she had to send that one back. At least not that I know of. But they sent her the one without the mask.
Then you just hope somebody wants to see your license because then you get the 2 masks on. That's funny.
I know.
That's great.
But it's weird that she's like, oh, it didn't make me upset or anything. I'm fine with it. Yeah, she found it funny too.
Post it on social media.
And that's what she did. Now it's a news story.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
If you're a dog person, you bring a puppy home. Some puppies can be really determined, and so is this one puppy named Skipper. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. Skipper was born with 2 tails and 6 legs.
I know. Maybe you've seen this picture, but oh my goodness, Skipper is the cutest thing. She's just over a week old. Now, not only did she have the 2 tails and the 6 legs, but she has 2 pelvic regions. She has 2 urinary tracts. So what they're thinking is possibly she had a twin that didn't fully develop.
Yeah, so now she's got this. It looks like she's going to have a lot to overcome, according to the vet, but she says, or the vet says, I should say, that Skipper is really determined. Yeah. One determined puppy.
She scoots around. She's nursing well. I mean, she's acting just like a normal puppy, probably getting into a little trouble doing her thing, but
soon will be chewing the remote control. Get all that stuff.
His morning crew.
I don't think it's one of those days where you have to layer up.
No.
No.
Well, yeah.
Kind of in the 50s.
Yeah.
Unless it gets down to below 0, then you're not going to need a layer. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. But I think there's this one guy that has brought dressing in layers to an extreme.
Yeah. He's even going to end up in a Guinness Book of World Records because he layered up with 35 T-shirts. 35. Why would you do that?
Oh, hold on.
What?
This is this dude that likes to do what do you call it? Get world records.
Yeah.
I think he's addicted to it. I don't know his name, but this is all he does is world record stuff.
Right. Name's David. And he gets his wife involved. And I sat back, I was commenting in the room earlier that I don't know that I would do this for Joey. I mean, I try to support him and everything, but this is weird. He laid out 35 T-shirts out in his living room, took all the furniture out and put them on within a minute. He had to break it within a minute.
Oh, so he had to put on 35 T-shirts or break whatever the world record is. So 35 T-shirts is not the world record. It's
in a minute.
It's in a minute.
Yes.
Because you could probably wear a lot more T-shirts than 35. I thought that's all it took?
No, you got a day and a half. We
girl
put
record?
on 150, but no, he had to get it in less than a minute. His kid is kind of hanging off to the side watching what in the world is happening? But he tried, I guess, last year and he failed. And when he breaks the record, it's like he has pole vaulted farther than anyone ever or higher than anyone because he's just like, I did it.
Just did a long sprint and out of breath.
Yeah.
For T-shirts.
35 T-shirts. And his wife's like, you did it, sweetie. And I love her support. I do. Mm-hmm. You did it, sweetie. And the kid comes running over and they all family hug.
Well, it was defeat last year.
It was.
It was just horrible. But now it's 35 T-shirts. Hey.
His morning crew.
Monsters, Inc. Monsters at Work is a new spinoff series.
From Monsters, Inc., really?
Yes, yeah. It now has, there's been some rumor that this was happening. They've been working on it, but it's going to be streaming this summer, and the release date is going to be July 2nd. So what it's going to do is going to follow some monster named Tyler Tuskman.
Wait a minute, it's not going to be the original monsters?
I think they're going to be in it, like Mike and, what's the other one's name? Sully. Yeah, Mike and Sully. They're going to be in it. But this is going to be the main character. So he's like the valedictorian of his Monsters University class. He graduated at the very top of his class, and he always dreamed of, being a top scarer. But I guess, he hit some snags along the way. We're going to see his plight to be a monster.
I'm going to have to... I like the original guys.
I did too.
Why?
I like Mike.
Mikowski,
I like Sully too, but yeah.
Yeah, Mike kind of reminds me of me.
Does
Mike
he?
Mikowski, yeah.
Why?
Well, you never get into the, if you get into a magazine, even if it's just a piece of your hair or ear in it, or your one eyeball you have, you're fine. It's okay. I'm in a magazine!
That was good.
Right?
Yeah. I like Monsters, Inc. It wasn't one of my favorites. I will say that. My kids liked it, but I don't know. I don't know. I like.
Were you scared when you were a child?
You know, I didn't have that whole phobia thing.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Because you don't need it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad are there. Grandma and Grandpa's there, whoever, and everything's good. You know what? You got God right there with you.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
Eloise might be 6, but she got swagger. She has strength. She has courage. And don't you even tell Eloise that because she only has one arm, that she has a disability. She uses that as her source of strength. Great little girl. Now, she was born like this, and she's not able to get any surgery for a prosthetic.
Oh, really?
Until she's 9.
Oh, okay.
And so the family knows this, and the family's like, okay, let's start saving up. And then they found out, $14,000. That's really tough.
Yeah.
GoFundMe page was put up. People learned about Eloise. In 8 days, not just $14,000, but $25,000 plus has come in so far.
Wow,
for her bionic arm.
Bionic arm. Oh, man, that is awesome. But when you put that GoFundMe up and you see that little girl, just her determination to overcome this. And, I mean, she's just living life to its fullest with a smile on her face.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Rob and Liz.
His Morning Crew.
Monsters, Inc. Monsters at Work is a new spinoff series.
From Monsters, Inc., really?
Yes, yeah. It now has, there's been some rumor that this was happening. They've been working on it, but it's going to be streaming this summer, and the release date is going to be July 2nd. So what it's going to do is going to follow some monster named Tyler Tuskman.
Wait a minute, it's not going to be the original Monsters?
I think they're going to be in it, like Mike and what's the other one's name? Sully. Yeah, Mike and Sully. They're going to be in it, but this is going to be the main character. So he's like the valedictorian of his Monsters University class. He graduated at the very top of his class, and he always dreamed of, being a top scarer. But I guess, he hit some snags along the way. We're going to see his plight to be a monster.
I'm going to have to... I like the original guys.
I did too.
Why?
I like Mike.
Mikowski,
I like Sully too, but yeah.
Yeah, Mike kind of reminds me of me.
Does
Mike
he?
Mikowski, yeah.
Why?
Well, you never get into the, if you get into a magazine,
Yeah.
even if it's just a piece of your hair or ear in it, or your one eyeball you have, you're fine. It's okay. I'm in a magazine.
That's good.
Right?
Yeah. I like Monsters, Inc. It wasn't one of my favorites. I will say that. My kids liked it, but I don't know. I don't know.
Were you scared when you were a child?
I didn't have that whole phobia thing.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Because you don't need it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad are there. Grandma and Grandpa's there, whoever, and everything's good. You know what? You got God right there with you.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
Caught on surveillance. Couldn't get away with it. Not whatsoever. Travis was caught in the act on surveillance.
What was he doing?
He stole from a construction site. Not once, but Travis ripped them off twice.
Oh, my goodness. And they had him on tape.
Had him on tape and everything. They knew who he was. But here's the thing. He didn't know. They knew. So when he stole the second time around, he's homeless. He just needs some things to, sell and get some money. The guy's hungry, So he goes back to the construction site, completely guilt-ridden.
Oh, he turned himself in, kind of.
He walked up to the owner and said, listen, I did this. This is me. I'm so sorry. Here's your stuff.
Wow.
I just can't do this.
Yeah.
2 weeks later, you're not going to believe this. 2 weeks later, Travis comes back because they hired him.
So he came back to report for work.
To work.
Wow,
They
the employers.
hired him. The owners of the place have compassion, have forgiveness, and they're like, you know what? We understand.
Yeah.
We get it. You're in a tough time. How about we just help you out? Want a job?
Wow.
Travis is like blown away.
How could you not be? You're not used to somebody giving you that kind of grace and forgiveness.
Yeah.
You're really not.
So he started at the bottom of the ladder, so to say. So he's learning the ropes a little bit.
Yeah.
He makes sure that, the other construction workers have what they need to get the job done. But he's starting to learn some other things, too. He's like, I cannot wait, to get my life. I'm getting my life back. I'm getting on my feet. I mean.
And doing a good day's work makes you feel, wow, I've accomplished something.
It makes me wonder, too, that Travis is walking in there going, I'm walking out in cuffs. Maybe I'll get, 3 meals a day now because I'll be in prison.
Place to lay my head.
Yeah. And no, he gets a job.
And can provide for himself.
His morning crew.
If you know anybody who travels, or if by chance you're going to travel and go through Philly, wait till you order food. It's Robin Liz, his morning crew on his radio. I think a Rumba is going to bring it to you.
That was the way they should have gone with this. It is a robot that will, but I've been in quite a few airports. I've never ordered food where they brought it out to me, like, where you're waiting at your gate. So,
yeah, that's a different thing. You always have to, there's a restaurant you can sit down at, or you just go up to one of the Hudson News and grab a
pretzel.
Water or a pretzel or something like that.
For $47.
Yeah, or you just go by the Starbucks and wait in a line that is at least a half hour long. If you ever go to an airport, you know what I'm talking about.
Concourse A to Concourse G is where you're waiting.
Yeah.
But this thing will actually bring you whatever it is that you've ordered, and it's a little robot, so it's to take that personal contact out of it.
At your gate is what they refer to it. They call it at your gate. The thing's 40 pounds. It's probably just a little bit more than knee high. Mm-hmm. And it's got a big cargo bay on the inside of it. And so they'll put your food in this, and it's all social distance. It's all clean. It comes in a zip bag, one of those thermos type bags.
Right.
And it finds you, and there it is. And you open up the cargo, you get your food, put the bag back in, and boom, you're done.
Yeah. It tracks you, like it has Bluetooth, so that I guess they can set it up, the navigation where you are in the airport.
Oh, yeah, you do that with the app.
Yeah, and then it comes and finds you. So weird. Like, it's just so weird.
I just want to fly to Philadelphia for no reason at all, order it, and run throughout the airport and watch this thing chase me all over the place. It's like, where is this thing?
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
When you talk to a teenager and you give them instruction on some things to do, sometimes, they'll kind of buck up against authority a little bit,
Like what?
You tell them to clean the room. I'll do it later. I'll do, whatever. We've all done that, right?
No, not all of us.
You never told your mom and dad just said, I'm not taking the garbage out?
No, well, she kicked me out of the house, so
but
she couldn't tell me a thing.
Listen, I told mine many times, and I know my kids do. Well, this happened in a school setting. A teacher told a kid, he was wearing his hat, take your hat off. Sign of respect when you come into the classroom, take your hat off. He flat out refused to take the hat off. She sends him to the principal's office. So he gets to the principal's office, Mr. Jason Smith, and he talks to him. Rather than just get right on him, reprimand him, send him to in-school suspension or anything like that, he says, what's going on? He said, well, we haven't had enough money for me to get my hair cut, and I'm kind of embarrassed by the way my hair looks, so I want to keep my hat on. And you know what Mr. Smith did? He took out his scissors and his comb, and he gave that kid a haircut right there in the principal's office.
Evidently, he knew how to do a haircut.
He was a barber from way back.
No way,
yeah,
really?
He was.
Look at that.
I know. He'd been cutting hair like his entire life, and he decided this is something I can do. Make this kid feel better about himself. The kid had been bullied because of the way his hair looked. Your mama can't afford to, what kids say, and
look at him go.
Yeah, so there's more than one way to get to the end result.
Well, you sit down and have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, I had to learn to do that with my kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what are you doing? Just do it.
Sure.
Just do it. And then there's actually a reason why.
Yeah.
And then I feel horrible. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Worst parent of the world award. And I've got many of those plaques on my wall.
Well, I think most of us do because you know what? It's like, I don't want to fight this again. I just want you to do it. But if we take that breath and take a step back, the same thing that we ask for from people, it can be better, and you find the root of it.